Sunday and you see the weather, you see that blue sky. What tells you a nice blue, beautiful color sky? What it tells you? Maybe it's a good time to think happy. Be happy without trying hard, right? I drove by a cemetery today and there were maybe 50-60 people attending an event, and according to the place and the look in the faces, I could see while I'm driving my truck, I could see the faces and the attitude, like nobody was dancing, nobody was smiling, nobody was laughing. I drove, maybe it was like 30 meters away from those people, and they were standing around like in a semicircle around a fresh grave, and they had some distance, maybe 5 meters or something from the grave, because there was a piece of equipment, they call it backhoe, kind of an excavator, like a backwards excavator. It was lowering a concrete slab on top of the grave, so I could see the grave, dirt around. Oh wow, eagles. So there's a helicopter going to Squamish and eagles are circling. Wow, that's a good time for flying. A really, really good time. And the eagles are out and circling in the air above the mountains. There is something. And I can only assume that those people around the grave, they put someone, like another coffin, on an old grave, and now they had this excavator, this equipment, lowering the old lid. I could see the cover, which like the lid was made out of a concrete slab and was full of dirt. So probably they took it out. So they dug an old hole, took the lid out, because the lid had a kind of a steel or a kind of a hook, metal hook, and so they took that cover out and put a new coffin, maybe. In some other countries, I don't know if they do the same thing here in Canada, after a number of years of someone being buried, they remove the remains, the bones generally. After 7 years, they remove the bones and wash the bones, put the bones into a bag, and put it back in the grave. I don't know, but all those traditions don't bring joy to people, like people's minds. It's generally it's sadness, because they lost a member of their community, a member of their family. They lost some of the love, because unless the person was a hateful person, was a really bitter person, did not love anyone, and when that person does not give love, because people are built to be selfish, they think, okay, I did not get love and pleasure, anything. Yeah, maybe that guy fed me when I was a kid, but now I forgot about that. Those times when that guy actually helped me to grow or something, or help his kids to grow, or help his company to make money or grow and help others. Everything is forgotten. So whatever people do in the past, if it's not related to love, generally people forget about. You can have all the accomplishments in the world, but if you don't give love to people, you're going to be forgotten. I mean, there are big, great people all the time. You see names like Nikola Tesla or something, and people remember those guys like Edison, Churchill. Remember those guys because of their accomplishments to humanity. So let's say if Napoleon win a war or something, okay, yeah, did he fought for our country? Yes, okay. Did he win anything? Yes, okay. Oh, let's remember Napoleon. But if this guy was a leader of the country and he lived a cool life, like some of the France kings lived cool life of the poor people, hard work and stuff, then nobody wants to remember who was George III or something. Nobody cares. So yeah, if you have a positive impact that that brings well-being. So now with close relative family members, like I said, if you remember about your auntie, how you remember her? Oh yeah, she was lovable, she was a loving person, she took me to movies, or she did this for me. I really remember, because you remember the emotions of love, and you want to remember more of those because it brings you it triggers similar hormones in your body biochemistry. So your brain, by remembering something, triggers very similar states of biochemistry in your body, which in turn, being monitored by another part of the brain, will make you recreate those emotions. That's why you want to have sex, because you remember and you feel, or you kind of relive and you remember, oh, it was good, or you want to relieve some adrenaline or something. Whatever experience is pleasurable to you. Some people want to recreate pain. So now about this burial thing I went by. Why I'm talking about it. This is a interesting mechanism built in people, in the DNA. Some people think that they learn it throughout their lives. Yeah, you learn a couple of things, but you learn it because it's built in the DNA. So it's about making the group stronger, and how a death of a person make the group stronger. So you have someone, it was part of your group. Let's say that person was a provider, was bringing food all the times, or was helping with chores, was helping with food, making food for kids, looking after the kids, or was providing love. So any type of emotions that made that member of that group being easily accepted. So it was a contributor. It's not like some guy or some woman wasting the group resources. It was someone who either provide love or care or healing or emotional healing or support, or like a material provider, like providing food to the group, right? So that person won it acceptance to the group. Otherwise the group would say, you know what, I don't love that guy, I hate that guy, and they will share the emotions with other group members, and sooner or later that guy would feel insignificant, ignored, or even bullied to get out. So I tried that experiment and it worked well. I proved the point. I live into a really pretty large community, like a number of buildings, and we kind of know each other. It's like a small village, but it's very condensed into a small area. And I did work at the time. I did not do the experiment, but I tried to do it later after that. So I did work lots of volunteering work hours, and I put work every time was something. I jumped in, repair the boiler, assist the contractors, do clean up, do this, do the snow shoveling, help the neighbors, do this and that, clean the roof, you know, countless hours of volunteer work, and I was appreciated. Lots of people respected me for what I do, and I knew that, you know, when I was going to the meeting, I led a couple of meetings and to a certain committee, and I could see that people took advantage of me. So I was doing the work, the real physical work, and there were people, including women, who were standing there doing nothing, but they get the same benefits like I was getting for being a volunteer and doing something for the community. Now, it was some event in the community, and I decided, you know what, I had enough. I can do help other people where everyone wants to get involved, everyone respects each other. I'm not getting bullied because when I do help, it's a professional, it's like a group of professional pilots helping the community. And I thought, you know what, I can help there, I can learn something from these guys, and I'm being respected for the time I put in. And actually I learned that I get some tax credit from the government of Canada for the time I put in, right? And I'm having good time doing those hours, and it's like I feel like you are being accepted. Of course, if I stop participating to that group, I will get kicked out. So they will not renew my membership because they say, you know what, you are not active. Yeah, sorry, we don't need you. So any group acts in a very similar way. If you stop contributing, they will do something to get you out. But the group, the first one I was talking about, the large community, I felt like people did not put fair amount of work and did not contributed in a fair way, and I didn't want to be taken advantage of anymore. So I stopped. I did not go to meetings, I did not do any volunteer work, and I saw people turning their back on me. I saw people not saying hi or something. Then I had neighbors I helped in the past, and one day on purpose I had my truck hood up to see how many people are going to stop and ask if I need any help. None of those. So there were like at least 10 neighbors driving by, like about 6-7 meters from where I had the car. Some of those, they saw me, they looked at me, and they kept going, but did not stop. And like I said, one of the neighbors, I helped him before with his car. Also, he saw me and he went. And again, that's an experiment you can try, but not many people have the courage to experiment that way because they are afraid that they would lose some love. You can experiment with your kids if you like. I did that. When you stop showing love, they will reply with the same coin. They will stop showing love, right? Any family member, I can tell you that it's built in. It's a mechanism built in the people genetics. So a group member leaves, dies, disease, old age, whatever, and people sense that, you know, we lost a contributor, and now the grief, it's a human emotion after a loss, during a loss, like someone in your family passed away. And what happens with people during grief? Because there are a couple of things, couple of actions people do without thinking that actually help the group bond and compensate for the loss of the friend. So let's say in any group, in any social group, there are people who argue, who fight, who have tensions, disagreements and stuff that sometimes they build over years, and there are wounds, mental wounds that don't heal. People don't want to heal the wounds because of the big ego. The bigger the ego, the harder to heal the wounds, the harder to say, you know what, I'm sorry. Let's start this one over, or let's do something to grow a stronger family, grow a stronger community. Do something, you know, be wise instead of being smart and showing that you have smarts, you know. Let's be wise. Of course, there are people who are wise, but they see, you know what, yeah, I'm trying, but I'm not getting the same response. So that person still, or my partner, or my kids, my older boy, or someone, my grandma, or someone in the family, still does not respond. So I'm trying to lower the guard and lower my ego, but still I'm not getting the same response. That person has still big ego and believe that, you know what, they are smarter, and even they think they see you as weak person, and they will take advantage of that. Now, during a loss in a family, people automatically, but people who know love, tend to stick to each other. Like you see people hugging, reuniting families, healing wounds. Then crying is also a good time or a good way to relieve some of the stress. So people build stress and emotions and stuff, and because of that, that stress may make people to have disagreements, right? So when those people have disagreements and stress and stuff, keeps the group members separated or apart. So that makes the group vulnerable to intruders, to external attacks, or to financial pressure. But now, especially nowadays, financial pressure or Facebook manipulation of stuff, you know. So the creator built in this genetic mechanism. When people, so you may think, oh yeah, people learn from loss and they learn from others how to cry, when to cry. No, when they see it's built in, it's genetics. So when they see someone is gone, they automatically think that some love is gone. Like I said, if the person was not lovable or not loving and caring, people would not care that much. But when a person who used to love everyone is gone, you will see how many people would attend the ceremony, the burial or the funeral. Let's say if he's a great actor who's gone, you will see thousands of people attending there. Why? Because that actor provides laughter, provides crying, provides some emotions to many people, to hundreds of thousands of people, or a singer, or a great singer, you know. So the more you provide to the community, to the society, through your talent, the more people will receive that as something pleasurable, as something, an emotion that unconsciously they associate with some love that they give back to you. I love that actress, I love that actor, I love those movies made by this producer or something. I love that guy, that mechanic, you know what, he repaired cars for everyone. Oh, that doctor, he helped so many. So your contribution to many people would make people love you more, or not really love you, but care about you. And some geese. So that can be seen during a funeral, right? So if it's a person who was not loved by anyone, you will see probably only 2-3 people assisting moving the body or taking the body to the crematory to be burned. Like if you see homeless people, even they had some loved ones in the past around, but because now they are on the streets where people don't know to give and receive love, it's all about survival, and they are being forgotten by the family. So you see the cop on the right, he is with a radar, and yeah, it's an older guy. I've seen him, I recognize him by the mustache, and but I don't want to push the car to go hard in here, especially this hill. Lots of people are pushing their engine hard to show off that they have a muscle car or a powerful engine or something, especially truck drivers. And so probably that cop won't receive that much of a love during his funeral. Yeah, so people tend to give some love back. But again, so for the strength of the group, people try to, like I said, to cry. And when they cry, I mean they don't try, but they will cry, and during the process they will clean up some of the mental pressure. They will get rid of some of the stress. And when people relieve the stress through crying, and people experience that during a good orgasm with a good cry, especially a woman orgasm, would trigger a bunch of good dopamine, oxytocin, and other good feeling hormones, and it makes it very powerful, very desirable to re-experience it. And that's a good way to clean up some of the tensions in a couple. Even the couple have hard time to go over some barriers and go have some good sex, but if there is some love among the couple, members. Yeah, the stress and some disagreements can be cleaned up that way through emotional release. Could be through organs, could be through a good massage, could be through any other type of emotional release. And I have some guys, they just went by the radar, the cop, and they think, oh yeah, now no more speed traps, so now they are kind of pushy behind my car. So this crying at the funeral, this hugging, these things are all built in a human emotions to help the society or the group to regroup and rebuild and stay stronger. Because once you have one member that's gone, could be during a fight with a bear, during an injury, during a disease. Let's say if it's some nasty disease, just check when some big news about like a coronavirus is now ongoing in 2020. Check the people emotions, people around you emotions. You will see people are more forgiving, and people are trying to are friendlier, and it's natural. See, this guy was impatient. The guy on the left, he's going to pass me on the left. Probably he will give me some look. Oh yeah, he's one of those idiots, rednecks. He's not even signal, and if you see the guy with the hoodie, probably like if you look it's a stereotype of a drug dealer. I don't care what he does for life, but you know, it's not nice to bully people on the road. Right, so again, if you have a someone in your life, in your family is gone, is passed away or something like that, think that if the person was supposed to go because it was time, the God wants the person back home, or whatever belief you have, or maybe it was a burden for the family, then think of rebuilding the relationship with other people in your life. Maybe your kids, your friends, and get people together to show up at the funeral. Give them a hug, and will help you reconnect. So when people give you emotional support, showing that they are on your side, then you feel some sort of love, and love gives you strength to keep going. Right? So all these emotions that come in during a funeral, during the life loss in your family, in your life, those are built in and are meant for groups to stick together and get stronger and stay stronger. So those are where my thoughts related to funerals. I don't know if it makes sense to you, but I'll let you go. I'm going to enjoy a nice Sunday afternoon. See you later. Bye-bye.